Hey everybody, I'm John. I collect cards, and this is a VR for Eric at Four Leaf Cards, where he asks folks to talk about their most beautiful cards in their collection. And so I'm going to show you a few right now. I'll flip the phone around and get right to it. All right, Eric. Again, thanks for the opportunity to take part in your, kind of your video response thing. Actually, I don't do too many of these, but I thought I would dive into this. And real quick, first off, I'm going to try to go through kind of most recent to older than my overall number one. The first one I'm going to show is, so I got back in the hobby in 2020, like a lot of people, after being away for about 30 years. And so I wanted to show a card from the last 2 years that kind of really resonated with me and I think is, beautiful in its own way. If you want to, if we want to drop that word. And that is this Juan Soto short print from 2021 Topps Chrome. I find, I'll extend the word beauty in terms of, call it symbolism or just sort of, a card that kind of speaks beyond the picture a little bit. And, I don't know if this was prescient or not last year, but it takes on a whole new meaning now, given that he's now 3,000 miles away playing, at least for the next few years, a couple of years. I can't remember when his contract ends. I'm assuming San Diego will find a way to re-sign him long term, because it seems like they got lots of money to spend. But anyway, this is a really interesting card. So it's a chrome refractor of Juan Soto short print from last year, 2021. So I thought I'd put that in there as one that just sort of resonated with me since I got back in the hobby among the new cards. It's got an interesting meaning to it, I think. The next one I'm going to show you is from this. So I collected as a kid from 78 into 1978 when I was 5 till roughly 1991. 1991 was the last year I do remember collecting in earnest, because I had faded out in the late 80s. And the 90 set I did not like at all, design-wise. But the 91 set I thought was a fantastic design. But at that point I was 18 and getting ready for college, and I was already kind of falling out of buying packs and whatnot. And so, but when I saw that set, like the photography in that set really resonated with me. And this card in particular stood out. And I'm a New York Yankees fan, but when I pulled this card from a pack, I was like, wow, that is an interesting photo. Like, that's different for Topps. Like, that's a different kind of baseball card that I don't see every day, or that we didn't see every day. And I think, say what you will about what, Clemens' latter half of his career, and, not in the Hall of Fame because of, stuff he was doing to maybe enhance things. But this card is a great card. It's so cool. It's just a classic shot. And I actually just picked it up recently when I saw the contest. That was like, I immediately thought of this card as one of the 5 I'm going to show here. And so I bought this card just like 2 weeks ago. I paid like $7 for it, in a 9, SGC old label 9. But I just thought it was such a cool card, one of my favorites of all time. And it's just such a, the composition is great. It's just an awesome card. I wanted to have it in a slab because of that. So there you go. That's one of the ones that does it for me too, that I think are among the more beautiful ones. Then the last 3 are going to be more vintage era here, definite vintage. Number 3 is where action is beauty for me. Actually, these aren't really ranked. I do have a definitive number 1, but at least in my collection. And who knows? That could change in 2 weeks from now if I find something else and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that one. But for right now, anyway, here's one that stands out for me, and probably for a lot of people, where I said action is beauty. That's the 71 Thurman Munson. Such a classic shot. I only have it in a 4, and I picked it up fairly recently. I'll probably upgrade this card sometime in the future, but not right away. Maybe not even ever. It's just such a great shot. I mean, enough has been said about it, but it's just got everything. The classic black borders, the rookie trophy, and, Thurman sans mustache, actually. But it just speaks for itself, really. Nothing more needs to be said. It's just an absolute classic shot. And, the beauty of the action of the game is just, that's it right there. So That's one of them for sure. And then the last two I'm going to show, so this is also a runner-up for me. I had to pick one from my favorite vintage set. My favorite vintage set is 1954 Topps. It kind of resonates with me, especially when I, like in a big way it did when I got back in the hobby. So much so that over the last 2 years, I've actually collected the entire 1954 set. And I got a couple of videos on my channel that kind of talks about that a little bit. But my favorite card in the entire set, and so you could call it one of, you know, in my opinion, the most beautiful cards out there, is the 1954 Topps Whitey Ford. I love this card. I love the blue. I love the New York on his jersey, kind of up close there. Great shot of him just holding the ball, and, you know, a little action shot there with Mini Whitey. It's just the composition. Again, I use the word composition a lot when I talk about card aesthetics, and this one just does it for me. I'm going to be sending this off for to SGC actually probably in the next week or two for grading. It's going to be in my next batch of 5 that I'm going to send out. And, you know, I'm hoping it comes back a 5. We'll see, but whatever it comes back in, it's just an awesome card. And actually the back is kind of fun too. I just love the, you know, like the general manager guy on the phone. You know, it's so like vintage into itself. I think he's smoking a cigar or something, or a cigarette. It's just, you know, kind of ridiculous. But it's, you know, the comic itself is pretty cool. It's just a great card. I love it. So we're going to put that one, actually going to put that one here on the edge here, because of that way he's sort of like going into the center of the camera. Although this last one is also going to be, he's going to be looking in this direction too. My number one all-time, if you want to call it beautiful card, well, let's call it beautiful. To me, so this was one of the first vintage cards I ever bought. And I was probably 17, 18 years old when I was going to shows, finally looking for, I would go with my brother and my dad, it was in Westchester County, New York. It was, the Gloria Rothstein shows, if folks in that area are familiar with them. I live in Michigan now, but, so when, you know, they had one like every month, every other month, and then like the summer they had something called the East Coast National, which was, I don't know if they still have it. They might still have it. Pretty big show, the Westchester County Center, every month or every other month. At that time, this is 30 plus years ago. And so eventually I gravitated finally, I think, toward some vintage cards that I could afford. The first card I did buy vintage was a 1963 Topps Stan Musial, his final card. And what, you know, that's not the card I'm going to show, although that was close to making it to these 5. That's just an awesome card too. And it's just a portrait shot, but, you know, seeing all the stats on the back over an entire career that started in the 1930s, 1939, I believe, is like that, like kind of like hit me in a time warpy way. It was like, holy crap, like, you know, it's like holding something that like spanned multiple generations, yada, 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 and just, you know, it's Stan Musial of Stan the Man. But, so that card almost made this list. But among the first vintage cards that I ever bought also is this one right here that I just think has everything going for it. I showed it in one video one time and maybe talked about it for a little bit, but it's this one. 1965 Topps Harmon Killebrew. Now, I'm not a Twins fan. I don't dislike the Twins. I don't like the Twins. I'm not a Harmon Killebrew fan either, really. Awesome career, obviously. But I love the color blue. That's my favorite color. And just everything about this card. 1965 is a classic design, one of the best of the 60s for sure, if not the best. And it's just, again, it's just a portrait shot, but there's something about this shot of this card that I just love. And it spoke to me 30 plus years ago when I bought it for, I don't know, 15 bucks maybe, who knows, I can't remember what it is. And honestly, it probably won't grade better than a 5. You know, the corners aren't that great. They're okay. But it looks great. It might be maybe on a good day, it could be a 6. We'll see. I'd love for it to be, if I do get it graded, and I probably will someday. It would be nice to be a collector grade. But it's just, I love this card. I mean, I love that it's, you know, a nice round number. He's kind of at the peak of his career here, you know. So that kind of spoke to me at the time. I love the little cartoon they have on this one. But it's more the front. I just like the gaze he's got. He just looks like a ball player. You know, you sort of can see like the wool on his jersey. I'm pretty sure they were still wearing wool at that point. Maybe they had switched to cotton. I don't know, or whatever. No, they definitely weren't doing polyester yet. It was probably still wool. Just sort of like it just, I don't know. It looks like you're right in there. There's something about this shot that just pulls you in. I don't know if it's his gaze or the patch on his jersey, you know, just a great classic TC that still like connects with today's Twins. I don't know, just everything about this card. I like the navy hat with kind of the bluish purple design. It's centered pretty well, not perfect, but pretty well. So this is the card to me that, well, to me is right now, at least on late October of 2022, the most beautiful card in my collection. So there you have it. As usual, my videos tend to run long because I babble a lot, but again, Eric, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about some of my favorite cards in my collection in an aesthetic, beautiful way. So thanks again, and I look forward to watching other videos in this, and take care. Enjoy the World Series.